Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Can't Wait Sounds Terrible. And boy, do we have a lot to work with on this show. We love the media. We love politics, especially the media and politics right here in the city of Chicago. That's Eleni. That's Natalie. Patrick is on assignment. The oldest white man in any room is filling in this week for Rachel Maddow on MS Now. So you'll all want to tune in for that. We're brought to you by coffee, but we should be sponsored, Natalie, by anyone who could not afford an ad on the Super Bowl featuring the Seahawks and the Patriots. Check us out, Reasonable Rates. Reports are from USA Today that Super Bowl ads cost $8 million for a 30-second spot. And the first ad in the first Super Bowl in 1967 cost $37,500. We might be able to give you special 1967 rates. Just saying. Anyway, let's talk influencers. Our influencers, the new precinct captain. So, according to Axios, gone are the days, quote, of simply sucking up to the New York Times or Rachel Maddow or Patrick. Now, potential 2028 contenders need to navigate a multi-layered media ecosystem controlled by big players and solo operators with big audiences. So they kind of go across the spectrum on the Democrat side, but they've definitely caught up with the right-wing podcasters and influencers who were very influential in the last election. This includes a show that I was not as familiar with until recently called I've Had It, hosted by Jennifer Welch and Angie Sullivan. It's almost as good as Sounds Terrible. They have 1.5 million subscribers, so just a little bit bigger than us. So J.B. Pritzker, the great governor of the great state of Illinois, has appeared on I've Had It. And Natalie, you seem a little bit more familiar with it. You might be right in their wheelhouse of audiences, but there's some kind of foul names they give to each other on their show.
I am in the demographic. I'm not a loyal follower, but I did catch the governor's episode. And as you said, it's, the Democrats catching up with the Republicans. I feel like Obama was the last Democrat to be at the head of the digital pack, and we've handed it over to the Republicans ever since, much to my chagrin. But so the governor is talking with two fed up moms about streaming services and how frustrated he was with the charges and
come on, seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously?
And yeah. Yep. That was his second thing that he was fed up with. The first one was geo-fence, like ads following him. Once he said he was searching for a cheese grater hat during the Packers-Bears game.
God.
He kept getting ads for cheese graters when he would go online subsequent to that search. But yeah, it's riveting content.
I feel like he's so much more approachable now than I know all
Yep.
that. Apparently it did work, Eleni. One of the hosts, Jennifer Welch, gave him a soft endorsement for president, according to Axios. Quote, right now, of the names that are out there, I'm going J.B. Pritzker for president.
Wow.
All you got to do is open up about how you don't like all the streaming charges.
Yes.
If you got the angry mom vote, like that's half the battle.
Yeah. Well, we know how they can sway significantly in these elections. And yeah, I think the mom vote is going to be a big vote this November, if there's a November. But yes, I'll keep that for a separate podcast discussion.
Yep. That's the after show.
The moms that were in the independent group probably let you down last time around, but the latest polling indicates that the president and the Republicans may have a tough midterm. These interviews on I've Had It aren't always softballs for Democrat candidates and Democrat players that appear on the show, as learned by one of our favorite elected officials, former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, Ambassador Emanuel. He was blasted on I've Had It as he and Jennifer Welch discussed his sort of bumper sticker quote that we need to stop worrying about the bathrooms and go worry about what's going on in the classroom. And she had it with that soundbite. But, you know, the mayor always holds his own whenever there's a confrontation. I buried the lead. So according to Cranes, another influencer who's been making the rounds on some of the podcasts, and this is, I think, what the Dems are smart to do. James Carville, the Ragin' Cajun, appeared on a Fox News branded podcast called Arroyo Grande, ironic, by a contributor named Raymond Arroyo. And Carville, for those young viewers of Can't Wait sounds terrible, he was the architect and designer and brains behind the 1992 election of Bill Clinton. So Carville, who's now has even less of a filter than he did, 35 years ago when he put "It's the economy stupid" sign up at the campaign headquarters. He said, if I had to say one guy, I'd take J.B. Pritzker. So that's two big endorsements from the influence sphere. Carville praised Pritzker as a dogged campaigner and pointed to his role as one of the party's loudest critics of Trump, as well as his efforts to Trump-proof Illinois through legislation and executive actions, Eleni. So take that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the current president, is making it easier and easier for the governor to run for that seat, because as you just stated, Trump, the more hostile and toxic things get on the federal level and across the nation, the easier it is to continue to hammer the same talking points with more and more credibility. So I would guess that list of endorsements is going to grow pretty significantly here soon.
There's pros and cons to running for another office when you're holding an elective office like governor of Illinois. And first, he has to be reelected governor of Illinois, just the way the calendar works out for him. But there's advantages too, because you can take initiatives like Trump-proofing Illinois.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Back to Mayor Emanuel. Ambassador Emanuel, pardon me. So, Natalie, Neil Steinberg had a column the other day. This is in a thing called a newspaper. How disappointed are you that former Mayor Rahm Emanuel won't be testifying about the Chicago Police Department's notorious code of silence in federal court, at least not during a civil trial that starts Monday, stemming from cops bursting into the wrong home in 2018 and driving a woman, her 4 children, and half-naked grandmother outside at gunpoint? We're not a legal affairs show, although I am a fallen away lawyer. But there was an interesting tidbit in Neil's column, which is often the case, and as he has written, he writes every GD day. This was all about the Chicago Police Department and the thin blue line. Police don't rat on other cops, which there's been a lot of great Hollywood movies about this. But anyway, Steinberg had a little aside in here. I'll read again. When I was forced to cover Emmanuel, I boiled his personality into a single sentence. He cares so much about his image, it makes him look bad.
Yeah, sounds about right. Or the ambassador.
I mean, my commentary is always, how can we miss you if you won't go away?
You might get a dead fish in the mail.
I mean, yeah.
He also made an interesting point about the Chicago Police Department and their inability to promote positive stories. He has wanted to do some more feature-y pieces about different officers, and he just gets shut down at every turn. And I grew up in a cop family, and I think Chicago is probably one of the most closed. Obviously, Mayor Ambassador Emmanuel observed that as well. So hopefully they'll take him up on it one of these days, because I think CPD, like everybody, could use some good PR. So Eleni, on the concept of the governor having an opportunity to score points by fighting the president and his policies, Mayor Johnson has issued an executive order in a great media fanfare. So he announced he was signing an executive order to the Chicago Police Department to investigate potential wrongdoing by ICE agents. And John Seidel and Mitch Armentrout covered this pretty in depth. Before we go any further, seems like this takes a page out of Governor Pritzker's book, correct?
Yes and no. I think the concern here with what Johnson's doing is he's doing things without thinking them through, I guess, and that's the concerning part. Like, what's the goal here? First of all, potentially, compromising his credibility with the police department, which is already in peril. But furthermore, what I thought was just mind-blowing was that he announced this and said that the Cook County State's Attorney, Eileen Burke, was in full support, only for her to then say she has no idea what he's talking about. So it's things like that make me scratch my head and say, how did that come about? And again, I think what we're seeing, I would say that the biggest difference between the two, the governor and the mayor, is strategy. One has one, and one is, I don't know what to say about what's happening there. So,
well, as apropos of Super Bowl weekend, welcome to the NFL. In fact, the Tribune, Madeline Buckley and Sam Charles, dug in a little bit further and said that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office is reviewing the legality of the mayor's executive order. The mayor's announcement quickly led to, quote, a back and forth between Johnson and Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke, who posted on the social media platform X that her office, quote, did not receive the executive order until it was released to the public. We do not provide legal approval of any matter until we've reviewed it. And the report goes on in the Tribune. But wait, Natalie, there's more.
Don't prove it until you read it.
Of particular note in the executive order is a passage that says, quote, CPD supervisors must ensure preservation of evidence relating to the incidents and reports described above and at the direction of the mayor's office, to make a referral of felony matters to the Cook County State's Attorney. So that is maybe, while it's intended to be an attack on Trump, it's a little bit more out of the playbook of Trump, because when seeking felony charges, detectives normally seek approval from the state's attorney's office felony review unit. Involvement from the mayor's office, quote, would be unusual. In the prosecutor's office statement, officials said they are reviewing the order for legality because this order changes the process for how felony charges are evaluated.
Here's the thing about these special commissions, and they're all over the place, and they're worthy, right? Because we want to do whatever we can to protect our constitutional rights. But there are processes and procedures and policies already in place to defend the rule of law. And so when you create the extra layers, or you create sort of the press pop that then creates an additional bureaucratic hurdle, or blip, whatever you want to call what this latest executive order was, it actually can do more harm than good. And I'm speaking to this having had conversations recently over adult beverages with other attorneys, again, who shall remain unnamed. But there are, worthwhile efforts to applaud the concept, but it may be doing more harm than good to create these extra special commissions and initiatives that are papering over existing options. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, some of the mayor's staff actually watch our pod.
Go.
So,
Great. Call me anytime.
Call Natalie anytime. And A for effort, right? Let's be positive in 2026.
You got the press pop, and then you got the follow-on too.
Yeah,
It's just probably not the follow-on that you wanted. So
when I worked for Mayor Daley many moons ago, one of my colleagues used to quote her grandmother all the time. And grandmothers do have some of the best quotes. And her grandmother said, "Many a slip between the cup and the lip." So there you have it.
my grandmother liked to say, "Consider the source."
That could be a shot at me. I don't know. So,
it's very appropriately broad. She was a Southern belle.
yeah, grandmothers are the best. Also, over the recent weekend, I saw some old neighborhood friends who also watched the podcast. But one of my buddies told me, when you start to talk about Chicago politics, I just turn it off, which is pretty much all we talk about. So, Brian, I'd like to know what you're watching, but just fast forward to the end. Fast forward to the end. Sounds terrible. Which producer Grace is coming up right now. All right. It's time for Sounds Terrible. And Eleni, you look like maybe you're ready to burst. So
you look terrible, Eleni.
What's terrible?
I'm still recovering from some birthday festivities, and now I have a cold that I'm sure a child gave me at some point. So physically, I probably look terrible. I'm also mentally drained, so emotionally, I'm terrible. I would say truly sounds terrible. I really can wait because I don't want to deal. Is what's going to transpire over this Super Bowl halftime show debacle. Already want to turn everything off. I don't want to hear about it. It's already trending, and it's going to be so terrible. All across the board. So
yeah, there's already an alternative halftime show with Kid Rock.
Also sounds terrible.
Yeah,
it's like that guy said.
A lot of applause.
Got applause. Yeah,
Literally sounds terrible across the board.
All right, Natalie, what's in your terrible craw?
Do you think it'll get more ratings than the Chicago New Year's festivities?
Wow, we're gonna lose the mayor's office viewers that we have. Sorry about that, folks.
All two of them.
It was, yeah.
Okay, I have 3 words for you. It's winter right now. Eleni's got a winter cold. I am wrapped in a blanket as we speak, but I'm thinking about summer camp signups. 3 words.
Oh,
It's like the Hunger Games for adults.
talk about angry moms.
It is. I am fed up.
What do you have the good folks at your secure location giving you any insider tips as to how to get the boys in?
Well, I have a check that I'm going to take somewhere after we wrap this. So, yeah.
Cash solves all problems. All right, so I was going to say that my sounds terrible was going to be what appears to now be the annual snowplow naming contest held by the city of Chicago and the Streets and Sanitation Department. I was like, don't we have something better to do? But now I know the answer is no, we do not. And the entries have been awesome. So this was a little bit of coverage of this, but according to the Sun-Times, some of the finalists for the snowplow naming contest, and I don't know what happens to the snowplows that are already named from previous years. Like, is this do they erase old names, or are just like many named? But we'll deal with that another day. Anyway, some of the names are Chance the Scraper, Daniel Burnham, Derek Froze, for those Bulls fans out there.
Derek Froze.
Italian Icebreaker. Streets and Sand used to be called the Department of Tony. So it's time for the Plowculator, if you're into dance. For the bird lovers, Monty, the piping plower, I guess. You just got to kind of go with the visual there. My favorite, however, is mustard snow ketchup. Get it?
These are all terrible dad jokes.
Things that were once terrible are now awesome. That's perhaps where we are as a city and as a society right now. We're just looking for anything. We'll even take something terrible and make it joyous, which is what we're all about. Hey.
Lots of that.
If it's terrible, we can't wait for it. Producer Grace puts this mess together, and we will see you next week.